Hey ho! Let's go! Welcome back to our show tonight. It's been a crazy couple days in the baseball world. Mike and I are here to discuss the stunning Raffy Devers trade and Shohei's return to the bump. But before we get to all that, as we always do, we begin by asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here? Boom! Right now, the only people going more crazy than our fans are probably the Florida Panther fans. They just scored on their first shot of the game. You're looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now, episode 42. As we are part of the ball9.com podcast network. How be you?
Good. In addition to things you say to get traded and tell me you're pitching and create a bunch of hype that doesn't mean squat, we'll talk about start them, sit them, go get them, cut them. I'll look ahead to next week. But as always, smash the like button. Please smash the like button. Follow us on ball9.com, YouTube, Spotify, your local podcast networks. And I just hope I don't say something like Nick Castellanos did to Rob Thompson to get benched for next week.
Hey, before we do that, we do have some breaking news. The New York Knickerbocker organization reached out to the show, asked if they could interview you for the head coaching job, and they were turned down. You're too valuable here.
You're turned down.
Yeah.
God, I'd do anything except for this, if I'm going to be honest.
So the question I have is, the Devers trade was a stunner, mostly because they won a bunch of games. They beat the Yankees 5 out of 6. Welcome, Dennis, once again. Is there anybody happier about this trade than Garrett Cole?
He just ramped up his rehab.
Yeah, right.
Full speed.
Jalapeno cheese on the grill and a couple of beers. That sounds pretty good.
I remember that Syracuse sausage had a nice jalapeno cheese sausage. Gas was $39.9. It was in the 80s. So let's just look at it from a fantasy perspective for just a minute. For the Giants, like a home run trade, right? And as a fantasy owner, despite the fact that that ballpark is difficult unless your name is Barry Bonds to home run as a lefty.
Correct.
He's probably at some point going to be first base eligible. Like, it's a home run, right? It does make the stock of Bryce Eldridge go down a little bit. From a Red Sox standpoint, I mean, what they got back, I mean, Kyle Harrison, he's going to be pitching for the Blue Sox. Maybe he'll work on another pitch. He was a highly touted prospect. He's been middling certainly not a guy you're going to add to your fantasy roster. Jordan Hicks will help him in the bullpen unless you're in a league that has holds. Maybe helps get Marcelo Mayer at bats, solidifies at bats for Campbell, solidifies at bats for Roman Anthony, gets Abreu back in the lineup. So it does help them in some ways with younger players, but I guess the lesson is, like, don't tell people that pay you what you're not going to do.
Yeah,
Don't tell people. Just looking at Dennis's comment. Just don't tell people.
On a whole pizza, Dennis, at midnight when the roof of the mouth is seared from the mercury hot like temperatures.
Like, don't get a big contract. And Poppy, as much as I hate Big Poppy because he's a cheater and a bullshit artist, he said it best. Like, sometimes when you get the big money, you gotta, hey Jim, you gotta you gotta just do what the organization asks you to do sometimes. Like they're paying you a lot of money. And apparently what I read was he got pissed off when Kristen Campbell said he would play first base.
That's the rumor I heard today from
How
the
about
big
you
man.
play first base, you
Yeah.
big fat
I
piece
said
of
it.
crap?
The rumor I heard, by the way, Big Poppy is full of shit because he's the guy that came out a couple months ago and said, don't ask him to change positions. Leave him alone. He's your best player. You gave him all that money. Leave him alone. I'm like, no. They
Well,
asked him to pick up
the HGH has he can't think straight because his hormones are racing.
go get you. By the way, welcome to Jim to the show. Mike, Jim is my, I knew him in junior college at Herkimer. I don't know why he misses college football. Maybe he's looking forward to Florida State's impending 3-9 season. But I talked to a baseball executive this week, and he said the big thing, he's a Red Sox fan. The biggest problem with Devers was, do you want him setting the example for Meyer and Roman Anthony and Christian Campbell? And that's the addition by subtraction part of it.
Yeah, it's the better an empty house than a bad tenant thought process, right? Like on paper, are they better off without him? No. On development and culture of that young group of players, they're 1,000 times better off without him being there. And then he gets on, like, not to give him a pass because he's killed the Yankees, so fuck him first of all. But he gets a reboot too.
Yeah. And now he's saying all the right things. I'll play where they ask me to play.
Of course he's going to say the right things. Because he's not butthurt that they signed a third baseman to play his position for a big contract. It's not like there was a kid coming up in the minors. It's not like Mayer was a third baseman.
Can you say butthurt on the show?
I just did.
True.
Is that what got Castellanos benched? Stopped his 236 games start? Start streak?
Yes, they are still paying Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, it's Bobby Bonilla Day. It's coming up.
And I am salty. About the 94 FedEx. Byron Bennett he shanked that kick. Oh, my God, it was terrible.
Well, it's not as bad as when Jonathan Vilma took the soul out of Nebraska.
Don't start.
Knocked the soul right out of the entire campus. Every single person that was enrolled in Nebraska was shook after that hit.
Yeah, poor Duran Diedrich. He was the victim of that act of violence on the gridiron. I remember it. It hurt me from my living room.
Jim, you're right. Your work here is done. Your work here is done.
All right.
We're both looking at the same thing. So how about all the hype for 1 inning, 2 hits, and an earned run?
Yeah. So, yeah. When I think of the term stupid in baseball, I think letting Shohei Ohtani toe the bump is about as stupid as you can get because he's a 50-50 guy on offense. He gets an adrenaline rush last night and pops one 100 miles an hour, which I can't believe anybody in the Dodger organization would have wanted to see.
Well,
risk versus reward. It's not worth it. I know they got 8,000 guys on the DL. It's not worth it.
Well, it is. I mean, the bottom line is if he's going to pitch, like not be an opener. Like if he's not ready to face a major league lineup, then just keep doing sim games until he can give you 3 or 4 innings. I still think, and I feel like this is a hill I'm about to be ready to die on. With that level of investment in the bat and the hit tool especially, He does have 24 home runs. He'd be my closer.
I give you that because they could use it. That makes sense.
He'd be my closer. And that's all he would ever do. Because you're not gonna worry about the DH in the ninth inning. Like your DH will become your pitcher. You'll give up. Like you're in the ninth inning, and if he blows a save, then the pitcher spot's still going to hit. They'll figure it out. They're not. That's like there's got to be a way to figure it out. But he was the DH last night, and I think like him pitching in the top of the first allowed him to DH and then not have to use a pitcher spot. It's too much effort and manipulation. And then, of course, Major League Baseball, because there's only 4 days. There's 2 hours and 40 minutes till his first at bat. Like to have all that hype for one inning, like maybe I got Ohtani fatigue, and maybe and likely, very likely, it's because Judge is overshadowed by Ohtani. And despite the fact that Judge had a better year last year, and he's having a far better year this year.
But let's not forget those 9 whiffs this weekend in Fenway Park.
Whatever. Forget those 9 whiffs.
9 strikeouts is 9 strikeouts. That's
9 strikeouts is 9 strikeouts. He's not going to hit 390.
No, but you got to hit the ball.
Well, I mean, to his own credit, he's like, I got to stop chasing bad pitches. Like, I don't worry about a series. I mean, it was against the shit Sox, but it is what it is.
9 times, to quote, what was that guy's name in Ferris Bueller?
There's 8 other people in the lineup that could hit too. So there's that.
9 times.
There is that. He can't bail him out. Though he did ruin Crochet's complete game thought. Ego in that punk. He tried to sneak a fastball by the big man. That didn't work out, did it? Hit it over the Sitco sign.
Okay, so go back to Shohei for a second. Okay, but again, he's a 50-50 hitter, which is here. All it takes is one pop of that elbow.
Right.
He's out.
I mean, you
lose that bat.
But so he's an enigma, right? So he's an enigma from a fantasy standpoint because until there's more of him, like if Skeens was hitting like he did at Air Force, like if these two-way players that were great two-way players in college all of a sudden decided to do the same thing in the majors, they're one or the other.
Caglione was a two-sport star at Florida.
Right, and he decided to hit.
Yeah.
But what if he was doing both? Now you got to decide week to week because there's no platform that allows you. There's no platform that we have been exposed to yet. And now I'm on platform number 5 that will allow you to have Shohei be both. You're not going to get pitching stats and hitting stats. And if he's pitching like he pitched before he got hurt, and he's hitting far better, he's a far better hitter. He's a far more valuable hitter now since he went to the Dodgers, given the last year and a half. He was equally valuable either way with the Angels. You got to make a decision week to week whether he's a pitcher or a hitter. And you're giving up something no matter what. So he creates a challenge. I mean, my Yahoo League, he was allowed to be drafted as both positions.
Separately, right?
Yes, he was drafted as Ohtani the hitter and Ohtani the pitcher. So he's on 2 different teams in my National League only league. And Ohtani the pitcher is now eligible to pitch. He was an IL spot in that league until last night.
I actually like that idea, I guess, because in at least in our league, you can't have it both ways. You can't get.
I like that. I
offense
like
from
that
the defense.
idea where you're locked into a position, and
Yeah.
you're a player like him. He's a unicorn. He should be eligible to be drafted in both positions.
Yeah.
He's valuable enough that you'd want to do it. It's not Kiki Hernandez. Like, you're not going to draft Kiki Hernandez as a pitcher. And while we're at it, you got a $370 trillion fucking payroll, and you got to pitch that position player in the 6th inning of a game. Come on.
Did they? I didn't know that.
Come on. Enough. Come on.
6th inning.
Like,
what
stop.
was the score?
It's great. It's great if it's great if you've got batters that are going to face him. His ERA still might be lower than Kyle Gibson's, but it's still not great.
So here's the thing with the Dodgers. I mean, it's amazing. Of all the things you would have guessed, they were probably as sure a thing to win their division as anybody going into the year.
Yeah.
And I know they're hurt. Honestly, if I was a die again, I wouldn't pitch Shohei under any circumstances. He's too valuable on offense.
Yeah.
But they're 2.5 up on the Giants, 4 on the Pods. They're starting to slump a little bit. But for the Dodgers, they just got to get to October. Is Shohei on the mound going to really be the difference of not getting into postseason? Probably not. They're 44-29. So I can read that straight and blurry without my glasses. But again, why? I just don't think it's worth it.
I don't either. Well, they got Glasnow's facing hitters finally. So there is that.
Here's a question. Bob just asked you a question. How do you handle the Devers?
It's a great question. So he won't be available as a free agent until I was just looking, as a matter of fact, because I don't think he's available as a free agent until after Monday.
So how does that work? Do you have waivers, or is it first come, first serve?
It's waivers. Well, we'll see, because I just put in a claim for him, so we'll see if I get him or not. And because I suck in that league, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to.
I was going to say unsurprising that you're in the running.
Yeah. Please.
Call it like I see it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was in bad shape in that league, and then Acuna came back, and all of a sudden I'm like making a hard charge right now.
There you go.
But yeah, the trade deadline in an AL or NL only league is a mess. Equally as bad as like Corbin Burns being out for the season. Because the depth is difficult. There's no places to go. Like, who are you going to pick up? Like, there's not a lot of guys. Like, you lose Corbin Burns, you're looking for a guy that gives you holds.
Yeah.
So you can win holes during the week, because you don't want to lose ERA and whip. The holds guy could do that to you. Like Ryan Presley not being the closer anymore, that kills you. Like, if you don't win the race for Danny Palencia, it's a mess. You pick up Mike Michaelis, like he's a disaster.
No, he's if you're picking him up, you got, even in an NL only league, he just doesn't bring anything to the table.
No. This conversation is had forever and ever, right? From a Major League Baseball perspective, if Mike Michaelis is your 4th or 5th starter, then so be it. From a fantasy perspective, you don't want any of those guys.
No.
You don't want anybody's 4th or 5th starter unless their rotation is so deep that their 4th starter would be a 2 on everybody else's rotation. There's guys coming back. There's guys getting hurt. It happens all the time. You got to adapt to it. But the Corbin Burns injury is a really tough one. He was drafted high in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
There's no real replacement for him.
Do I get credit for calling him a regress candidate at the start of the year or
Yeah. Well, he's not going to pitch. That's
Visionary.
A total regression, right?
Visionary.
Even injured, he's still better than half of the Orioles rotation.
True. I don't know. You're the guy that picked up Charlie Morton this week, though.
Did you see what he's done?
He's pitching better.
Have you seen what he's done? He had 10 strikeouts in 5 innings the other night with no earned runs.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I thought I'd never have him on my team, but then I watched his last 3 starts. I'm like, I guess I better pick him up.
Patrick Corbin will be next for you.
So that's what happens when you come back early from a groin injury, and you shouldn't have come back. And then the next thing you know, you're in friggin' San Diego getting a second opinion on your back and your groin, Hunter Green. Like, Christ. It was him or Sagano, and I'm like, you know what? How about a guy that strikes out somebody once in a while?
Yes, every now and then, make somebody miss, catch him looking.
How about a guy that strikes out somebody once in a while? Like, how about once in a while you get a strikeout?
All right, you ready to press on?
I am ready to press on.
Who's hot?
Who's hot and who's hot?
Shall you lead off this week?
I shall lead off. Josh Smith. I mean, on the season, he's hitting 288, 7 homers, 20 RBIs, 32 runs scored, 8 stolen bases. He's 72% owned, but he's dual position eligible at third and short. And with Seager being oft injured, he's eligible at short. Yeah. In the last 14, he's 354, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and 12 runs scored. Now, the team doesn't score runs. And he starts tonight. Josh Jung's not. They're clearly going to put him in a lineup and let him play somewhere, somehow. And the Rangers are starting to turn a little bit. So he's a guy, I mean, I would expect him to be up. He was up this week like 10%. I'd expect him to be up another 10% next week.
Yeah, you mentioned dual eligibility. That's why I got Willie Castro up there. I actually picked him up on my team. I've had about 18 second basemen on my team since the A's training staff misread Zach Geloff's X-ray, and I drafted him, and then found out the next day after I sobered up that he had indeed had a broken hand, hasn't played yet. But Castro got off to a tough start, was hurt. He's owned in 48% of CBS leagues, started only 34, but he's outfield and second base. And when I picked him up to play the outfield for myself, and then I'm like, no, let's move him over to second and move on. But his last 21 through Sunday, 391, 5 homers, 10 RBIs, and 12 runs. And he's a guy, he has put together some really quietly good baseball seasons for the Twinkies. He's a player. He helped the Boogers. I think it was last year to win the championship. So he's a nice player.
And he's going to play because Royce Lewis is hurt again. And that means Brooks Lee's going to move to third pretty much full time. And then which means he's going to play second base all the time.
Yeah, that's a win. That's a win. And who's not?
These two. Jesus. I bought a Lars Noot bar at the grocery store when I was checking out the other day.
Look, I got to admit, I wanted to go back today. I don't think they played last night. Through Sunday, he was in a 1 for 27 slump, 0 for 18 in his last 18 through 10 Ks with one walk. He's still owned in 75% of the leagues. I wouldn't cut him. He's too good to continue that. But I wouldn't be part of that 35% that's starting him. That you're cold. And that's cold.
Yeah, and that's the same thing as one of my regression candidates who I guess I was like Nostramicus, and Griffin Canning is still a little under a K an inning on the season, 1.4 whip, 380 ERA, but then the last 2 weeks, 3 starts, 15 and 2/3 innings with a 5.75 ERA and a 1.4 whip, and he barely got out of the 3rd inning the other night. He's still 77% owned.
Yep.
He's only 36% started. I wouldn't cut him yet. I don't think I'd cut him yet. I'd have to see more crap from him because he does have good stuff. He doesn't miss enough bats to me, but they score 1 million runs. So like he's like a starter on a great team, unless he really implodes, then but it's looking like he might. I wouldn't cut him. I wouldn't cut him yet, but like he's close.
Well, they have a couple guys almost back too, Montas and Manaea. I don't know how much Montas is going to help, but Manaea gave him some good quality innings last year.
Well, they got to get McGill out of their rotation because that dude can't get anybody.
He's hurt. He got put on the IL today, I think.
This is the new major league. New Major League Baseball is I got lit up like a fucking Christmas tree, and then it's Rodney Dangerfield and Caddyshack. Oh, my arm! It's like it's a joke. It's like Aaron Nola, like he couldn't get anybody out, and all of a sudden he's hurt. They're not hurt; they just suck, and their team is like, here's the best thing: we can't send this guy down because he's got 0 options. We got to DFA him, and somebody's going to pick him up. So we're going to tell him he's hurt, and we're going to let him figure this out on the side because I can't watch this anymore. That's manipulation that's roster manipulation in Major League Baseball right now. That's just if it's like Michael Toglia just got called up. He homered tonight, cut down on his K rate. He had options left. If he had no options left, he would have been mystically injured, and he would have been in their spring training site working on his swing.
Very proud. Matthew Tkachuk with a goal for Florida in the last minute of the first period. 2-zip Panthers. For you hockey fans taking a break from the Stanley Cup Final.
Celebrate on that ice in Edmonton, and nothing will make me happier.
No, they're in Florida tonight.
They're in Florida tonight. Oh, jeez.
I hate the Panthers with a passion, but I'd love to see Bradley Marchand get his name called when the Conn Smythe Trophy is awarded.
That's what happens with Bruins players. You got to go someplace else to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, well,
Ray Bourque. Too bad Bobby Orr didn't get traded. Cam Neely could all cemented their legacy someplace else.
Careful.
How about go get him? College night. It's college night. It's
college night.
School night here.
I had Evan Carter on my list until I was reminded by my more astute co-host with a better memory that Evan Carter was recently put on this show. So I'm going to use Chase Burns, 57% owned to CBS, which is a higher number than I would have guessed. Although 1% started, I'm not sure why, but whatever. Just got moved up to AA or AAA, did great in AA, had much heralded pitcher. I was surprised he was available in our league when I put him in my minor league spot. He seems like he's on the fast track to the bigs. He had 7 strikeouts in his first AAA start, was great in AA. I think the Reds are going to move him along and move him up. And go get him now and put him on your bench. Put him. We have a minor league designation, so that's where he resides right now. But yeah, he's worth the look because by all accounts, he's got it.
Well, yeah, and deep dynasty leagues, he's already like he's been on people's. He was on people's rosters when he got drafted out of Wake. And for me, it's Cam Moore or Christian Moore the Angels, as they're wont to do, is take college players and get them in, Reed Detmers, Nolan Shanuel, and get them into the majors as fast as possible. And he's a second baseman, but at Salt Lake, he hit 350 in 92 games at Salt Lake City in AAA. And he only had a 26% K rate. He's 33% owned right now, CBS. But last year at Tennessee, he was .375 with 34 homers and 74 RBIs, and his K rate was only 13%.
Did you hear the story on him? He's from New York City.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, his dad was a Met fan. He grew up a Yankee fan, so there was a lot of witty banter going around in the Moore household.
Well, you know what? He's right. His father's a lunatic.
But he missed the call. He was sleeping the other day when he got the call from his manager, AAA manager, and he woke up and realized he missed a few calls. He called him back. He goes, "Don't sleep through calls when you're in Baltimore." He's like, "What's in Baltimore?" He goes, "Congrats, you're going, buddy. You're going to the show." That's how he found out.
Huh. Look at, and he's 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts so far. But he'll be fine. And at a position that you need to find players.
Yeah.
And I tried to grab him right away the other day and just throw him on my bench. And knowing that eventually, well, in 8 games, Chisholm will be eligible at third for us. And I can slide him back to third base. And that's why I picked up Mac McClain, because he's second base eligible. All right, Christian Moore's going to be a really exciting player.
Yeah.
And his power is going to translate. Like he's a love baseball guy. He's gonna be fun. They're building a little. I can't believe I'm saying this. Like the record's not showing it yet, but they're building something.
They'll screw it up.
And then these 2 idiots. Holy Christ. Luis Ortiz throwing up in his glove.
Well, that wasn't the start he had against the Yankees. I watched that game. He looked pretty good against the Yankees.
Everybody ran out and picked him up.
Yeah, but he hasn't looked good since. So he's got a 1.47 whip, ERA 4.64, 3-8. His K rate's pretty good, but that's it. And it's just not tolerable. So, yeah, I'd move on from Luis Ortiz. If you were one of the ones that scooped him up after that impressive start against the Bombers. And
then me, the darling of last year, the breakout candidate for a lot of people, Tyler Fitzgerald. How about he's looking for a base hit right there. He's like trying to find a way to get, like, how do I get on base? He's hitting .239 with 2 homers, 9 RBIs, and 17 runs. He does have 9 stolen bases on the season. And in the last 2 weeks, he's 146 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He's still 42% owned. And I know second base is not deep, but I mean, there are many other players, even especially with shortstop being so deep. If you get a middle infielder slot,
yep,
there are many other players that are worthy of a roster spot than Tyler Fitzgerald, and whatever he does well enough that he stays in the lineup. But holy cats, he is not for me. Special consideration to Kybert Ruiz, who I'm still waiting to be a great major league player, but holy good God. Yeah, the cut 'em list this week was pretty deep.
Hey man, we're in mid-June. We're not quite the dog days, but some guys start to get exposed.
I mean, you got guys that are, between 40 and 50% owned in a CBS platform, and like you're clearly playing for next year if they're on your roster because they're killing you.
Yep.
I'm starting to think about Christian Walker like that, but I use history for him. Then a little look ahead. This is the second time for you that you've had Hayden Birdsong and your 2-start pitchers.
I'm a Hayden Birdsong guy. I can't get him.
Yeah, clearly.
I drafted him, then I cut him.
He's more valuable now. Now that Harrison and Hicks are gone, he's going to be in the rotation.
Yeah. Like I said, he was my last draft pick in our draft this year. He didn't make the rotation. Roop beat him out, so I cut him. And
well, Roop's a mess. Roop could have been
Iron
on the
Brigade
on the cut-on list this week too.
Iron Brigade has selfishly hung on to Birdsong. I think I made a trade overture once. It didn't happen. But hey,
he's like that.
He's started in 40% of the leagues, owned in 75. His last three before this week, 3.45 ERA, which I could live with, 16 strikeouts, home to the Marlins at the White Sox. Go for
it. Yeah, we like that. We both like that matchup. I like it more than you do on both sides because Eduardo Rodriguez has at the White Sox and versus the Marlins. And in his last two starts, since he came back from being injured, he's around a K an inning with an approximately a 1 WHIP and a 3 ERA. So he's better than he was before he was fake injured. I love those two matchups for Eddie Rodriguez. He's only 36% owned. He's a good 2-start pitcher to go grab.
Yeah.
For next week. I'd watch him this week and see how his start goes. Like I benched Alcantara thinking that he had the Phillies in start 1 this week, and I wish I would have never because it's the resurgence of Sandy Alcantara's back.
He's got it going a little bit.
Well, like I'm not shocked by that. And then from a hitting standpoint, obviously, if Eddie Rodriguez is pitching at the White Sox and versus the Marlins, I'm taking that powerhouse Diamondbacks lineup. If they could pitch a little, if they could get consistent pitching a little, those Zach Gallons looked a little better recently. Yep. If they could get consistent pitching where they're not into their bullpen in the 5th inning and they're chasing all the time, they would be right in the thick of that race in that crazy National League West race.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Kyle Hendricks has 9 strikeouts against the Yankees tonight.
They strike out a lot.
Wow. No runs, 9 strikeouts in 6 innings by Kyle Hendricks.
Kyle Hendricks has 9 strikeouts.
I don't think he had that all last year.
He's clearly cheating.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
He's clearly cheating. He must have talked to Gaylord Perry between starts.
Get Vitale on the phone. Where's
Joe Necro when you need him?
Get El Jefe on the horn. He was whining about Brian Cashman the other day.
Are they going to go out and now check him and he's going to throw an emery board out of his back pocket like Joe Necro on the mound? Like the Yankees haven't – the Yankees put up a 10 spot against the Royals, and I don't think they've scored since. They won a 1-0 game, and they've scored like 4 runs in their last 6 games. It happens. That's baseball. I mean, it happens. How about break up the Rockies?
Break up the Rockies.
The Rockies are putting it on. Michael Toglia has got 2 home runs tonight. How about that? He'll be my starting first baseman next week.
I'm getting text messages of congratulations for busting your stones.
From a who?
A Met fan. I don't name names.
You don't have to. How about whoever's texting, whatever one of my redheaded stepchildren is enjoying my current play. I've got 2 words for you. Go fuck yourself.
Speaking of the Met fan who texted me, no, I'm not going to give it Jacob Wilson for Birdsong, but I'll take Birdsong from you.
Yeah, and I like your Padres matchup. The Nationals are really struggling right now.
They are. Yeah, the Pods, it surprised me. They're 16th in MLB in average, 18th in runs scored. They still got some hitters. The Nats are 26 in team ERA. The Reds are right about the middle of the pack, but some runs can be had in that ballpark. So yeah, I like the Pods to kind of try and get their bats healthy this week or next week.
I mean, the Diamondbacks, if it wasn't for the Dodgers, they'd lead the National League in runs scored.
They were down 2-0 early, but they've scratched 3 across Bassett. No, Austin Wells almost homered. He almost made the warning track just now, but it was close.
Would have been a homer in Fenway in the short corner. Yeah, well, surprisingly, Eugenio Suarez is not homered tonight. Brandon Pfaadt.
You're a D-backs guy. Can they get up there and do something?
I don't think so. Unless they make a move for a pitcher.
Yeah.
unless they
36
make
and
a
35.
unless they make a move for a pitcher. I mean, they've scored 364 now on the season and
Yep.
given up 368. Like you can't be that's a tough thing to overcome. So you got to get. I mean, you can't. I mean, Fott had a decent outing tonight, but you can't count on him. I mean, Merrill Kelly's been great. Gallen will be better, but the rest of the rotation. I mean, unless Eddie Rodriguez really picks it up,
Yeah.
then they're gonna need to do something because their offense is built to win. I mean, their offense is great. If Corbin Carroll doesn't make the All-Star team, there's going to be an investigation. I mean, that guy's been phenomenal, and Suarez too. I mean, who's a better third baseman in the National League? Maybe Manny Machado. Who's a better third base? We're coming up on those, our all-star selections.
That will be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be really interesting.
A few weeks out.
It's been
Did
a
you
while,
see the ridiculous? I hope MLB is letting like an unpaid intern design these uniforms that they use for like the home run derby.
Well, at least
they're paying somebody for those ideas and those designs. They're pissing money away.
At least they're going back to their own uniforms for the game.
Yeah, I don't want to have to guess who's up.
So I don't care what beer league softball uniform they wear for home run derby. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't watch home run derby anyway, so there you go.
You know, I used to love watching home run derby. And I don't know what's happened to it. I don't know what's happened to home run derby that makes it. Maybe I don't know if it's the format. I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just been going on for so long.
Maybe
it's just been so long for home run derby, and that doofus Pete Alonso, like that BS. Like maybe it's just been too long. Like maybe it's just run its course. Now I say that as I plan to go next year in Philadelphia to home run derby because it'll be here in the midst of the 250th celebration of the country and the World Cup, the All-Star games here as well next year in Philadelphia. And I'm planning on going to home run derby and the celebrity game just because that seems like it'll be a lot easier.
I think the home run derby would be a blast if you're in the stadium having a couple of beers. And the big man.
You're right, big man. It needs Chris Berman.
No. He's part of the reason I can't deal. Chris Berman was my idol in the 80s. Even in the 90s, I loved him. The shtick has been old for well over 20 years. I hear they're bringing him back.
Well, that's John Sterling for me. That's why he retired 5 years.
Yeah,
he retired 5 years too long, too late for me.
I don't want to say bad stuff about Chris Berman. I used to love the guy, but my God, you got to evolve. And I can't have that. That's part of the reason I stopped watching the home run derby.
Well, ESPN,
I was subjected to that monotony.
ESPN has done baseball such a disservice in the last, frankly, since Boog Shambi left, since Shambi and Sutcliffe left the booth. And I watched Boog Shambi I watched Paul Skeens' day in Chicago the other day. And Boog Shambi's now the Cubs television play-by-play voice. And like Carl Ravitch just doesn't do it for me.
No.
Eddie Perez is fine, and Cone is great. But Ravitch just there's no juice in it, and then they're interviewing guys during the game, and it's just like enough. Like we just like baseball. You're not attracting people to be interested in a game with innovation. People that are watching baseball want to watch baseball. Yes. Like Fox has 11 different camera angles, and they're all crazy, and it just. I mean,
even the puppy's upset about Chris Berman coming back.
Yeah, he's getting ready for the dog days of August.
Well played.
He thinks my team's already in it.
All right. So next week. So we're about what? 3 weeks from all. Maybe we'll do All Stars July 1st. 2 weeks, July 1st.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah. I'll be doing that from the Adirondacks.
I'll be getting back from a 4 or 5 day excursion away. So
I'll be in Black Fly country.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Bring the skeeter repellent.
Maybe that might be. We may have to adjust that night. That might be a Monday because I'm leaving Tuesday.
Yeah, but that might be a Wednesday.
That might be a Wednesday.
Yeah.
The 4th of July, the Stars and Stripes edition.
Yes, there we go.
Baseballed now, as I would like to rename the show.
We could do that.
I think it's starting to stick. I think it's starting to it's starting to get a thing. It's starting to have a ring to it.
I am due a haircut tomorrow.
Until I get blisters on my head because I forgot that I cut my hair, and I went outside for 20 minutes like I did the other day when I was mowing my lawn, and realized after about 20 minutes I didn't have a hat on. And I'm like, shit, my head's on fire. Oh, I wonder why. Then I gotta go in and spray my head like my mom with a perm, spraying hairspray on it.
Yeah,
my
look,
recently graduated son mocking me for being stupid, which is always nice for your self-esteem.
Give Wyatt any visors that you might have in the closet. Just give them away because they're no longer of use for you.
I will tell you with great sincerity that I am not a person that's ever owned a visor.
Okay.
I'm either wearing a hat or I'm not. And I will close with a fascinating tidbit because I went to the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs game Friday night. What a great time. Right. So let's just talk about minor league baseball for just a minute. $13 for a ticket, $5 to park, a premium dog, which was a jalapeno cheddar dog, which was cheddar cheese and jalapenos on a hot dog, and a tall boy Stella for $19. Like the full night cost me like $45, $50 with tolls to drive 50 minutes to go to this game. And Steve Carlton was there, and I met him, which was crazy by happenstance. Just met him in the concourse. 80 years old. He looks like he'd still get 3 guys out if he had to. But the fascinating thing was the Malmo Oat Milkers from Sweden are a partner of minor league baseball, like a financial partner of minor league baseball. And as a result, every team is the Malmo Oat Milkers. And I didn't even know you could milk an oat, but apparently you can. Every team for one night a year is the Malmo Oat Milkers. And the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs for that game were the Malmo Oat Milkers. White uniform, black oat milkers on the front, M on the hat. And they totally leaned into it. They didn't say Iron Pigs one time in the entire game.
That's interesting.
And the Red Sox affiliate lost in extra innings, which was also great. And the only thing that would have made it better, because by happenstance, it happened to be Faith Night, so there was a bunch of church groups there. If Dick Fitz would have pitched on Faith Night, it would have been perfect.
Yes, it would have.
As I noted to the group that I was with, the only thing that can make this better as a total affront to Faith Night is if Richard Fitz was the starter for the Woo Sox. So I missed Roman Anthony by 4 days. Lance Painter did not pitch for the Oat Milkers, which was a disappointment. I was hoping to see him deal, and then their top outfield prospect is dealing with a quad injury. So there wasn't really any Trace Thompson, Tristan's brother, former Dodger, on that team. Orlando Mercado's playing for the Iron Pigs. I mean, so there's some major league players there, but there was really no. I mean, it was a good game, but boy, what a phenomenal experience! Like the same amount of time it would take me to drive to Citizens Bank Park, even though Citizens Bank Park is 35 miles closer than Allentown to me. It's the same amount of time. It took me 55 minutes to get there. It takes me 55 minutes by car to get down to the stadiums. And for what I spent for the entire night is 2 games of parking at Citizens Bank Park.
Wow.
Like,
that's crazy.
And there was 5,200 people there. It was packed.
Nice. That's good. I love minor
Friday night. Yeah, it was awesome. But the Oat Milkers thing was really like insane to me because I didn't know anything about it. And if I hadn't experienced it, I still wouldn't know anything about it. But then to understand that they have financial interest in minor league baseball to the point where every single team in minor league baseball is played as the Oat Milkers for one game.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what the like the Swedish group. I mean, I didn't get any free IKEA furniture, which was disappointing, or at least an Allen wrench or something. Yeah, it started in 2024, and their official record is 23-31.
That's funny.
And they are, tomorrow night, they take the place of the Great Lakes Loons against the Peoria Chiefs. So they're across every place. Saturday the 21st, they replaced the Woo Sox, Winston-Salem Dash, and the Jersey Shore Blue Claws against Hudson Valley. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 games a night that
that's great.
That they're the team, and it's so all 120 minor league baseball teams down the pink and black. They do a pink as that outlines the black, and I haven't yet been able to find how much they paid. Because they did. The company's Oatly. So I don't know what their financial interest is in doing this, but I'm sure it's big enough. It's obviously big enough that MILB has bought into it.
Yep.
They're gonna play 120 games.
Cool. Hey, for future, I don't know where you sit on this. For a future segment, can we at some point discuss the absolute stupidity that is the Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, yeah. We're going to take dissenting views on that.
Okay, I'll look forward to that. I have a lot to say.
Yeah, because I'm gonna look at it through a different lens than you're gonna look at.
Fair enough. We'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I bet maybe we get JT Snow on, talk about his pulled hamstring.
All right. We will plan next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
You got it. All right. We're out. Thanks for joining us.
Tim, thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, absolutely.